Hello.
And welcome to Spirit Talk USA.
We are in America.
Yeah, so we have been in the United States for 2.5 months. First we were in Florida, and then we took a drive from Florida and we came to Alabama. So we're in southern Alabama on the the Gulf of Mexico coast.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have quite a lot to talk about in this Spirit Talk because a lot's really happening and a lot is going on for everyone. So let's get into it,
Let's
shall
start
we?
into it. I
Yeah.
think we start probably with the energy when we flew in from Costa Rica, arriving in America and going through customs and passports and control, and it was not that bad, wasn't it?
No, I mean, there's been a lot of hype and a lot of discussion because of the immigration policies that the Trump administration has been putting in place, that there were going to be lots of problems. Now, we understand that some people have had issues with TSA and with being kind of taken to one side and interviewed and so on. We had a very simple, very easy process.
It has to do with what?
It has to do with energy and intention.
Intention, yeah. We created the feel of everything will be fine, everything is okay, and we always have the most beautiful people at check-ins wherever we check in, even so we have overweight luggage and we have a lot of stuff to carry. Usually not a problem at all, because we create that field, and we are very appreciative, very grateful, very open to whoever we meet on the airport. So we don't put any limits, any negative thoughts out there to the people that we are, even the immigration people. We are smiling to them, we are making small talk with them, we are grateful for them doing their job.
And we're doing this with authenticity, so this is not like anything that's forced. I mean, we're like this everywhere we go, right?
Yeah.
So we're appreciative of the girl on the checkout, or wherever we are. So because it's just how
The way
we live.
we are, the way we are, yeah.
So, but I just think it's important to kind of put that across from an energetic point of view, is the reality that we are creating for ourselves when we're going into these situations, because they are challenging. There's so many energies in airports. There's so much, so many frequencies, and it can be a very kind of challenging place to be. Particularly for people who are sensitive to frequencies and to energies and so on. So we create this field around us that is, everything's going to be good, it's all going to go smoothly, we're not going to have any issues, and we interact with the people in the way that Suzanne described. So, yeah.
When we arrived in our first place where we stayed in Florida, Merlin was still busy with other stuff. I took one of the e-bikes and I drove around, and I came back after I think 2 hours. I said, shit, I'm in the Truman Show. This is really the Truman Show. I feel like I'm an alien in the Truman Show. I'm visiting here from another space, being in the Truman Show. This is all so unreal. And I think the whole 4 weeks we were in Florida, it really felt like
it felt a little surreal, and I think if I was to describe it from my perspective, is that I felt like and I feel this generally here in Alabama as well, feel like that the energies of the land are actually really strong and really powerful. But what they did was that they shoved this Truman Show on top of it to suppress it. Yeah. And to create this situation where it's almost like this robots that are going around and they're just going through the motions on a daily basis. And what was a little surreal for me as well was, like, it didn't matter where we went. So we went from Tampa, and we were in Orlando for a little while. And then we drove through Florida, and I think we were in a city close to the border with Alabama, and it didn't matter. I didn't know which city I was in because they all looked the same. The same big box stores, the same, you know, gas stations and everything
Yeah.
all along the streets. And it's like, okay, this just doesn't seem any different here. And it was very, very strange.
Yeah, and the energies is the energy in America is it's very interesting down south here. We can't talk about energies in other states because we haven't been there, but down south here, on top of the very interesting weather, which is another funny story, because we don't think it's organic weather here. We think it's kind of
Geoengineered.
something engineered here, because, you know, by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the clouds build up. I mean, we know we are in a pressure zone between the ocean and being inland, but the thunderstorms that we have almost every afternoon here at the same time, they are not normal thunderstorms. They go around in circles. They are really, really noisy.
Yeah, very intense.
Really intense. Sometimes the ground is shaking. Even the flash coming down is very intense. And it's kind of, whoa, this is happening almost every afternoon. And sometimes that heavy that and if you walk it out with the dogs, we are going out dry, we're coming back totally wet.
but also what we find is because energetically it's intense and it doesn't feel natural.
No.
We're getting headaches.
Yeah.
From the weather, and so that's going on as well.
Yeah, it's going on. And we see a lot of towers here. We even see a harp field very close by. If you never heard about HRARP, you probably should do research about that. You find them around military areas.
Yeah, and there's a military base not far from here where we are in Alabama. And the other thing that's happening that's been our experience is huge polarity between the extremes. So, I mean, I don't think it's any secret what's happening politically here in America, and it's been very interesting for us to witness and observe that polarity between the people who are for Trump and those who are against. And Alabama is a Republican state, so they're very pro-Trump here. Although there were protests in Mobile and in the city we're close to here against Trump, particularly for what happened in California when they were deporting some illegal immigrants there. But from an energetic perspective, what it feels like is that more and more and more, what love or hate him, what President Trump is actually doing, he's bringing all of the ugliness, all of the chaos, all of the stuff that's actually always been under the surface up.
It's getting visible.
And it's becoming so obvious to people. So people who have perhaps not been spiritually aware or not been on a spiritual journey, all of a sudden they're going, oh, what's going on here?
They question. They start to question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in a way, it's doing its job. We also have to talk about an experience that we had that we feel like we were guided to be shown. So we're at a house where we're looking after some dogs, and we were taking them for a walk, and we ended up having a conversation with a neighbour just down the road. And this man had really beautiful energy.
He was shining. He was shining, really.
Open heart, really, really, really nice man. And he mentioned that he was an assistant pastor in a church. Now, from my perspective, the minute someone mentions church and I get like a little prickly, which of course it helped me to realize I still had a little bit of judgment and a little bit of stuff about that. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me to really kind of heal that once and for all and clear that. And the long and the short of it was that we invited him to have an evening with us with his wife, and we had the most beautiful conversation.
Yeah, he was very spiritual, and he's as well a musician, and he was talking to us about his experience driving to a place like a big cave in central North America where
in Montana.
In Montana, where he's making music, meeting all these wonderful people, and we thought, oh, he's really such a lovely energy, and he invited us over to come to
His church.
on Sunday.
So we were iffing and
Oh,
awing. Do we really want? But we thought.
But they were so lovely, and he said, you might not like our priest, but he's super blah blah blah. Let come around and make your, just okay. We said, okay, we take the effort. We drive half an hour. We go. This was last Sunday.
It was.
Oh my God. So
you can start.
We drove there. It was just a normal building, right? It's just not the church building. It's just a normal building. And we were very nicely welcomed with some nice homemade cake and something to drink. And he was there and very appreciative. And his wife was there and guiding us in. And then the priest came along, and we had some controversial communication in the first 5 minutes because I'm quite challenging sometimes. I have a new name. I'm Suzanne No Fluff.
Thanks, Tina, for that one.
Yeah. And so we were kind of, okay, let's go in and have a look. So they started singing. They had a music band and singers, and then they started singing, and then the priest started to do his sermon. And then, oh my God, what happened?
So what happened was that we were picking up on all of the dark energy that this was calling in. And in fact, what he was saying, and he was getting the congregation to affirm what he was saying. And the long and short of it is he was doing black magic, he was doing spells, and basically the people who were doing these affirmations were giving away their power.
And this was obviously because our assistant priest, he said, this is the only church in between 489 churches in this area.
Just in the city of Mobile and the wider
so
area.
You see them in every corner. This was obviously not that bad that the others are. Bad, you know what I mean.
We're not judging.
Not judging. No, I'm not. No, don't judge. How can I? In the end, we were kind of, okay, breathe, inhale, give light in here, give light in here. I was doing a lot of appreciation about all the creations in there. I was just, energy-wise, holding the energy. Molly did the same.
I was calling Christ consciousness, bringing in source energy,
and
inviting
breathe,
the angels to
and
come
breathe,
in.
And breathe. And after that, I just had to, I go out here. And our nice neighbor came over, and I said, look, let's go outside. I really need to talk to you. And when I talk to somebody, very often it just comes spontaneous. I don't plan that or something. I have to tell you.
It comes from your heart.
It comes from my heart. It says that you really have to do your own stuff. You can't waste your energy and time in here. This is so bad. Oh my God, please leave this place and do your own things. And he was looking at me and said, oh, thank you for that. I was feeling this a while, but I didn't want to leave the light behind because I'm shining the light in here. I said, yes, but you're wasting your light in here because you're actually trying to fight the evil with your light, and you can't do this because this is so dense in here, right?
We also felt they actually write. He and his wife write songs and write music, and some of the stuff that they're doing is beautifully written, and it really is the frequency and the energy. We actually went to hear them play. And we were saying to them, if you just did your music from place to place to place, and you wrote some of these beautiful songs, and just shine your light that way. And he's very eloquent in the way that he speaks, and the way in which he puts things, because he's a songwriter and he just has a way with words, and it's really, it was really, really beautiful. And we felt like it was kind of, we were called here to actually help him to see it. But I think he saw it, but he just didn't want to admit it, or he didn't want to kind of go further. So that was a very interesting experience, and for us, I think what it did was it showed us, and I think this for me was important to see the difference in the way in which the control of the people through the matrix is done in America compared to in Europe and in the UK or Australia. And even we've been to Indonesia, we've seen the different places where the different religions, the different cultures, and the different way in which the system is set up. So, for example, there's less control in some areas in America, which we have highly controlled in Europe, but it seems to me that they're using religion in this part of America anyway to control instead. So where there's this, it's different control systems that are in place, and I think that's what we really saw. So religion is a really big one here in America, whereas for me in Europe, you know, and in England, a lot of people have stopped going to churches. Churches closed down. The congregations are really small, and mainly it's older people from like baby boomer generations who are still going to churches. And you know, even when we did a boat trip here, the captain was talking about being a member of his church. And that's not something I would ever hear somebody in England actually admitting
saying
or
the
saying
first sentence
to people they don't know.
Yeah.
So culturally, we were really observing those differences in terms of the way that the control systems
And it's
are in
about
place.
belief systems, isn't it?
It is.
I believe that the church is going to help me and get me free of all my sins. And while talking about belief systems, I mean, we can destroy our life having beliefs that are not helpful to see the bigger thing here. If we believe that we have to have a religion, or we have to follow a guidance, or we have to work hard for our money, or we have to do this and that, our beliefs will actually be destroying our lives, because we are not acting from our inner feeling. The belief is overlapping our feeling. So if you think about your belief system, maybe you dig in a little bit deeper the next time something comes up, like, oh yeah, I really have to work hard for my money, right?
Or like we did with I did for the initial kind of connection to religion.
Yeah. And the belief actually is giving us a wrong guidance. If we put the belief beside and say, okay, this is only a belief, this is only a sentence I believe, or maybe I check that one out and, you know, see if it's really still mine, or maybe I inherited it from my family or from my childhood or from my surrounding. Maybe it's not my belief. I think it's my belief, but actually it's not my belief. No, I believe not that way. So check out your belief system. It's really worth doing it.
And so, Suzanne, you're the expert in this. Is it easy to shift your belief system?
No, because there are a lot of sub-beliefs under a belief. Once you find a core belief and you think, oh yeah, I changed that one, you know, I don't have to work hard for my money, right? It's coming easy. And then you experience, it's not easy. It's not coming in like, you know, oh, the golden horn is floating me with a lot of money. And then underneath there are sub-beliefs, and they are layered. There's a layer for layer and layer, and it takes quite a while to find your sub-beliefs and then to shift them. But once you start to shift your belief and say, oh, I'm not believing in that anymore, I'm not following this bad guidance, you will slowly make your way out of that.
So changing and shifting each belief system is easy, but it's because there are so many beliefs that makes it challenging to do. They're
covered. Yeah.
It's really good to understand that, because it's one of the things. So I just want to touch back, like I challenged my belief systems around religion and around control, and I just want to kind of add there that the people that were in the church, Suzanne and I had so much compassion for those people. So we weren't judging actually what was going on there. We actually felt, I mean, for me, I was quite deeply affected. I empathetically, I was connecting to what was going on there. And for me, it was like I had real deep compassion for what was happening. And I also recognized that it's their choice and their journey. And so, you know, it's not for me, but, you know, I have to respect that that's what was working for them.
in this moment when you're feeling compassion and you feel it physically, it's emotionally getting you, it's not a good thing because
No,
you're
'cause-
taking it over.
And
So
so you have a really good way
yeah,
of combating that.
what I
don't you?
usually do is when I feel like, oh my God, that's really, it's getting closer to me, I don't push it away. I just say, I appreciate what you're going through. I appreciate your experience. I appreciate whatever is happening there, but I appreciate it there, and I leave it with the other person. The appreciation opens the field for the other person to experience it for himself. So I don't have to step into it, and I don't even have to feel that one. So, but we are still connected through my appreciation for what's going on there. So it's very easy. You can just say, I appreciate you. I appreciate your creation. I appreciate this or that situation. And then you're still connected, but you don't take it to yourself. Very easy and very simple.
Yeah, thank you for that. And that really helped me because I was really kind of feeling quite challenging emotions in relation to that. So that was really a great thing to talk about. So let's kind of widen what we're talking about to kind of what's actually happening generally for everyone. So I don't know about you, but we have experienced that we feel like time is speeding up.
Oh my God, where's the days gone?
And I think when we talk to other people and things are going, so it really feels like everything is speeding up, everything is happening really quickly. What's going on collectively with what's unfolding in the world seems to be just happening really fast. 2025 seems to just really be A, speeding by, B, there's just like one thing after another coming up. And so there seems to be more chaos, there seems to be more polarity, and all of the, as we mentioned before, all of the kind of stuff that's been hidden is coming to the surface. Yeah. And it has to happen because otherwise we're not going to collapse the matrix algorithms. Because if we are still stuck in the matrix algorithms where we're buying into what everyone is saying and whatever, and all of those collective belief systems, then we are feeding it. If we are getting caught up on what Trump's doing or not doing, and if we're getting caught up with all of those issues that are happening and we are involved in it, then we're feeding it. And we're feeding the matrix, and we're feeding the old system and the old algorithm. So what we choose to do is to be observers. And through just watching the movie, instead of being in the movie, we know what's happening, we can see it, we can observe it, and do what Suzanne just beautifully described before about appreciating the creation but not being a part of it. And as a result, we're creating our own reality.
Yeah, and in a way, this means, and maybe you may experience this as well, in a way it means as well getting a little bit more isolated from other stuff happening out there. I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't go out there, we do our day-to-day things, but we choose very carefully with whom we spend time, where we go, what are we interacting with. We are not consuming anymore. We are very cautious about what we do and how we spend our energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for a lot of people who are probably listening to this video and people who are on the path that we're describing, I think it's important to understand that we are in those foundational phase. So a lot of people talk to me, the clients that I have and the client sessions that I do, they're often wondering about their life purpose. They feel like they're here for a reason, that they're here to help people. And the message I constantly keep getting from their higher selves, from their oversouls, and my own personal guidance is, not yet. We are in the foundation phases, and the work that we should be doing is with ourselves, so that we can be in a really great place, because that chaos out there is just going to get worse. It's going to get more intense, and we have to be able to be grounded
And anchored.
and anchored in our light, in our energy, and in our own reality that we are creating within the matrix.
Yeah.
So we can't step out of the matrix yet. We're still in it. So we have to really have this balancing act between interacting with the matrix while still being within our own reality. And I think this is what we're all working on right now. And this is what we would be saying to you: work on that. Work on the stuff that's coming up for you. If you're being triggered by the political situation, if you're being triggered by the wars that are going on in the Middle East, if you're being triggered by what's happening in your community or what your partner is doing or whatever, then work on that. Work on the belief systems that Suzanne was talking about before, because ultimately that trigger is linked to a belief system and a sub-belief system and another sub-belief system. And work on all of that, because our time when we're meant to be doing our life purpose, what we came here for, will come. And when it comes, you'll know it, right? So don't get hung up on it. It'll just unfold and it will just happen organically. So part of this path that we're also doing is being multidimensional. So what does that mean? I actually just described it. Interacting with the matrix, the third dimensional, but being in a higher fourth or fifth dimensional energy in our own reality, and then being able to shift between the two easily.
Yeah. In the moment we are in the transition phase, we don't know how long this will gonna last.
No.
And we don't know how many inhale and exhaling we have to do until things change, but we hope it's gonna speed up a little bit.
I think a lot of us are in that path, who are on the path, who see what we do and we know what we know, like deep within us. We'll go, oh, come on already.
Yeah.
But remember, this has been going on for a very, very long time, and it is actually happening really, really quickly in comparison to how long it's been going on for. So, keep on the road, stay strong. If you need any support, if you've got any blockages, any issues that you feel like you're being stuck with, if you feel you're on a frequency fence or a frequency glass ceiling, which is very common for a lot of the clients I'm working with, then you can always reach out to me and we can have a conversation.
And meanwhile, stay happy.
Yes.
Enjoy your life.
Enjoy your life, have fun.
Yes, and make the best of every single moment.
So next time we'll probably be doing Canada.
Yeah.
Because we
Stay
are heading
tuned.
north.
We are heading north.
You take care, everyone. Much love.